Hello everybody, my name is Friday, welcome to the bad side of the internet, and I'm going to be reviewing episode 6 of Wynonna Earp, season 3. This episode was actually really interesting because it was Christmas. I was so excited about the Christmas episode, everyone was like losing their minds, but it's so weird being Australian and watching you guys do Christmas. My brain was like, oh, maybe I should wear like other people did like Christmas sweaters and stuff. And I'm like, t-shirt. Like, we don't do Christmas sweaters and like hats and all that because it's summer here. It's hot. We go picnic and like wear t-shirts and shorts and sandals and rock hop and swim and stuff. So it was really weird watching everyone get so excited and like get all in their sweaters and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm breaking tradition. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just the Aussie who can't be bothered being rugged up. It's actually pretty cold here at the moment. That's why I've got a jumper on. It's a surprisingly cold in Australia at the moment. But what can I say about this episode? It was just a really feel-good episode. And I was expecting that. I was really hoping, like, there was part of me that was like always just a little cynical, you know? There's a little cynical part of me that's like, nah, they're gonna make it sad. Somehow they're gonna ruin Christmas. But they didn't. But having that been said, it does sound just a little easy. You know? You know what do you mean? I don't know if I'm just cynical. But like that takedown of Bolshar's lair where he was keeping everybody and they sort of busted in there and shot some people, it felt too easy. It just felt really simple. Like they got there and he wasn't even there. And no one said oh, he's not here, or oh, you just missed him, or like it looked planned to me. It looked too simple. It looked too easy. And the whole like what they're feeding them stuff, I'm wondering if it's like a poison or if it's like a mind controlling thing, because it looked green, so it might have something to do with the trees. Like wonder if he's gonna like start controlling them to do things, which is why when we saw in the trailer Robin acting a little weird. I wonder if Bolshar's going to be controlling all of them, because that would make sense to be like give them all this stuff and then send them out into the world again, you know, like he never intended to keep them, so he didn't care that Wynonna broke in and took them, you know. So I'm wondering if that's what the deal is, because it just sounded a bit too easy, you know. Sorry, my hair's a bit I just got home from work, so I hate having to look at myself while I do these videos because it's like, why do I have to look at this all day? But yeah, so that seemed I'm a bit iffy on that. Like interested, like not bad writing iffy, just like, I want to know, you know? I'm so mad at Mama Earp. Like, you can't just break Doc out. You can't just, not Doc, Bobo, you can't just take Bobo out, you know? Like, he does bad shit. Like, we love him. And he's like the crazy uncle we all want. But he just does stuff, you know, that he shouldn't be allowed to do. And now he's going to be out, which does hopefully mean that we find out more about, like, Waverly's dad and more about Julian and all that stuff. But also Bobo. He causes so much trouble. But I suppose that is a good thing in a way, because, like, we're actually going to get more Revenant backstory that way. Because at the moment, like, pretty much the whole season, we haven't really seen many Revenants. Sort of, you know, all about Bolshar and we have to kill him and the demon and blah. And like, I was sort of hoping that like they were going to find another way to finish the curse. Like if they killed him, maybe they could stop the curse happening or whatever. But if Bobo's back and he's king of the Revenants, so like maybe we're finally going to get some Revenant action. Maybe I don't know. Mama Earp, just like, as much as I love her and she's really cool this episode, really sweet. It's just, I don't know, especially because like Wynonna said, I love you, and she just sort of went, like smiled at her, and then when it panned back to the panned back, and she's just like stone-faced. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I know that she's upset and worried about Julian and all that stuff, but what is going on? I want to know so bad. But yes, that's all good. What haven't I covered? Way hot this season, this episode. Interesting. I'll start from the beginning, I suppose. The elf scene was beautiful. I loved that scene where she was just like, it can't be that bad. And then it just was. It was just and she still pulls it off, which is the worst bit. Like, maybe the ears, like, they're a bit much, but everything else, yeah, and she got laid. Magical lesbian powers. I don't know what she's doing there, but if you can get laid in the elf costume, you're like top notch, you're doing well. But the sex noises, I was totally thinking Wynonna was gonna like at least laugh at them about that, like sort of thing. But she said, okay, yep, this is Christmas. Like, I'm just resigned to the fact. I am waiting for one of the Earpers to just singular that audio though. I'm just waiting for it. And it's going to be on Twitter and it's going to be circulating and everyone's just going to be playing it. Like, me included, of course. But I'm waiting for that to happen. So yes, that was all very, very good, very well, very nicely done. And then the whole Christmas table, beautiful dinner. At least I understood the hats. The cracker hats. That's the only bit that I was like, yes, I agree. This is exactly what we do. It's the only thing that we have in common with the rest of the world is cracker hats. So sad. Yeah, we'll be sitting around with our feet up on the edge of the river or the beach or whatever with cracker hats. Nothing else. I've seen guys with Speedos, little okay, what's the American or not Australian way to say this? Speedos, budgie smugglers, togs, bathers, but swimmers. I don't know what you guys call them, okay? The little tiny ones that don't cover anything, those ones. I've seen guys wear those and a bright pink cracker hat at the beach. You're like, this is Australia. This is exactly what we want. But yeah, no, at least I was cool, and that scene was really nice. I love that Jeremy was my family, and he went to their family dinner, and it was really good and cute, and I liked it. And they didn't have a shout out to Alice though, which I was surprised that they didn't do, because I was sort of expecting them to be because they did the whole everyone made it, and then they're dolls didn't. But they didn't I thought they would have toasted to Alice, because it's Alice's first Christmas. That's a big deal in baby times. That's a big deal. You'd think that they would have thought about it or whatever. But then again, I suppose they've got other things on their mind, since Doc just got turned into a vampire. I'm mad. I can't even I was arguing with Erin about it yesterday, because we were talking about Doc, and I was just dumb boy, idiot boy, why? And she's he's a marionette puppy. He's all strings. Leave him alone. He just needs because she loves him. It's funny, at the end of last episode, she was going, I love one man. And at the end of this episode, she was I hate one man. Why is he doing this? And I'm I don't know. It's going to make such things so complicated. And Wynonna is going to be so mad. She's going to be pissed. And I'm not going to be able to be angry at her, because it's totally justifiable. And I don't know, it's one of those things of I know he just needed someone to need him, but also that seems like a big ask, And he went from end of last episode to being I will protect them with my life, and I don't care about going to hell and fuck everybody and whatever, to this episode where it's Kate, I will put my life in your hands, and I obviously don't care about my future, because it's going to be lived as a vampire now, and how is he going to help people when he's always in the dark? And I don't know. I'm very mad. I just want to know what that thought process is. What's his brain is thinking at that time. But let's jump back into good things that happened. The ship is sailing, but it's probably not going to end very well, Robin and Jeremy, because he's got the goo in his body. Goo body boy. I'm not excited about it, mostly because poor little Jeremy's face. I did love that talk between Jeremy and Doc, though, where Doc was just because he's an olden gay. He's an olden style bisexual boy. So he's you got to be confident. You got to go up to that boy that you know is gay and be look, this is how this is going to go down, which is probably what he did with all of the other boys that he dated back in the day. But then Jeremy tried to held his hand, and he's oh, honey, no. He's not your type. Sorry. He's into the big burly lawman type. Him and dolls are more likely, I reckon. But I can't even blame Jeremy for having a complete and utter smitten kitten vibe when it comes to Doc, because who doesn't? He's just a sexy man. Like, I was yelling and screaming at the television going, what the hell are you doing? But then as soon as he pulled his shirt, I was like, oh, like, I'm still mad, but like, you, Anyway, stop being distracted. Speaking of that dance scene, I don't know. It's one of those things too, because I have that really easy, awkward, I can't look cringeworthy sort of vibe. So I literally hid watching that scene because I knew what was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen, and it was just sort of like that build up. And it is, because someone on Tumblr or something was saying like, oh, if you cringe, you know, you obviously haven't seen a loving relationship. And it's like, no, it wasn't that. Like, I didn't find it gross. I wasn't like, oh, I don't like, that's not good or whatever. I was like, oh, like, it was just, is too emotional. Like, it was too close to real, you know what I mean? My fiance have done shit like that, you know, where you're just like, oh, songs come on, hey baby, and like joking around or whatever, and you feel completely embarrassed about it because you're like, no way will they actually think this is good. And then the way of like when she was like, oh, and then like the whole fact that Dom did that on purpose is just beautifully and like really well done, and I'm so glad that she went there with that instead of going into like, I'm just gonna be, because we know she can do a sexy dance, you know, like, we know Dominique, she can be sexy, like, it's not hard for her. She could have just gone, yeah, whatever, let's just be sexy with this, and like hooked her in and gone. But no, they were like trying to make it realistic, trying to make it healthy and communicative, which is the important bit. And yeah, so I was very excited about that. On the other hand, I will come back to good things about everything. I just want to take a moment to talk about the only thing in the episode that has stopped me in my tracks a bit. And it shouldn't. It's just because I'm a pessimist. It really is. It's just because I'm a complete and utter pessimist, and I've like watched so much queer television and everything. It was just that moment when Mama said, oh, you're already a lesbian. And it was just, I don't know, like, I'm so used to this show not doing tropes, or doing tropes and then turning them. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a trope that gets turned eventually, or like, because she didn't agree. Like, she didn't go, yes, that's me, a lesbian. Because, like, Emily and Dominique have both said that she's bi. So she didn't agree. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a play on, like, it's realistic. Like, I can't be mad at it because it technically is realistic. Every bi person has had that happen to them. You see who they're dating and they go, oh, you're a lesbian, or you're straight, or whatever. And it took me a really, really long time coming out till, like, still now people call me a lesbian, and I'm like, and sometimes I can't be bothered. And other times I'm like, no, I'm a bisexual. I don't, no, like, you know, I just don't want people to label with me with that. Like, if they're going to give me a label, at least let it be a label that I am actually using, you know? But it took a lot of confidence to do that, and I think it would have come sooner if I'd seen actual bisexual representation in media. Because it's so rare. Like, I think people forget how rare it is. Because people go, oh, there's bisexuals all over television. There is. Yes, it's true. But none of them call themselves bisexuals. So many, like, Rosa Diaz is like the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Like, Clark, obviously bisexual, has never said the word. Most of the character, Piper from Orange is the New Black, definitely a bisexual, never says the word bisexual. There's heaps of characters in media these days who are like, oh, I don't care about labels, man, or, oh, like, I don't mind, or I just fall in love with the person. It's like, yeah, you know what that's called? Bi, or pan, or, you know, yeah, I like, there's lots of different labels for it, but at least give us something, you know? And I hope, like, I'm a cynic, but I hope that they're going to turn it on its head. Like, I know Emily, I hope she knows these things, you know, and she's eventually going to write a scene where it's just like, you know what, no, I'm bi, and whatever. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it's funny because I wasn't annoyed at it. I wasn't annoyed at it. I was like disappointed in it when I watched the episode. And then I saw so many people's comments about it. And that's the bit that made me mad, not what the writers actually did with it. Because the writers just, played a moment, a realistic moment that would have happened. And if they're trying to go for the, like Erin instantly said to me, she's like, well, Mama Earp doesn't know her. She hasn't been around for 20 years of her life. All she knows is that she's dating Nicole. And therefore she doesn't know that she hasn't dated any other people. Like, she might know that she think that she's only dated women, which is completely fair for her to make that assumption, And it is. Like, it happens all the time. And Waverly might be doing the thing that all people do, all bisexuals do. Oh, yeah, I can't be bothered getting into it right now. Oh, it's not important or whatever. I still think they could have just done a throwaway quip or a throwaway line and it would have been fine. But if they actually want to give it proper pause and importance and they're going to do it later, that's fine, But it was the fact that heaps of people were writing comments being like, oh, why are the bisexuals getting so mad, like, it's just stupid, like, it's not about labels. She can change her orientation if she wants and all this stuff. It's like, okay, if she'd said, yes, instantly back, or yeah, that's me, or whatever, then yeah, fine. The fandom can think canon has changed. Or she has changed her mind, or she's decided that she only likes women, or whatever, But that wasn't the situation. And then also, on top of that, they kept being like, oh, well, she's only going to be with Nicole because they're soulmates, so she pretty much is a lesbian. And I'm like, do you guys not understand how sexuality works? They were still doing that like, oh, you are dating a woman and therefore you are a lesbian because you are not attracted to anybody else at the time. Even though they do the whole thing during the show of like Nicole finding people attractive and Waverly finding people attractive and that being fine and healthy for their relationship. But then the fandom is like, no, they're never going to find anybody else attractive in their lives, so it doesn't matter if she's a bisexual or not. I don't know. Sorry, that was just my bisexual rant. It's over. We should get back to the story, back to the plot. The plot, the big thing that happened for me that I was really excited about was Nicole becoming sheriff. I didn't know it was actually going to come this fast, but from the way Nedley was acting in the episode, we sort of knew. As soon as she walked out in elf gear and went, am I going to be an elf all the time? I was like, nah, she's going to be sheriff this season, this episode. I knew it. And then he was like, as soon as she walked into his office and the Santa hat was sitting there, I was like, yep, picked it instantly, knew it was going to happen. And yeah, I'm just excited about seeing how that arc plays out. And like, everyone's changing so much this season. Like, Jeremy's going to have a boyfriend. Mama Earp's back. Doc's going to be a vampire. Nicole's going to be sheriff. Wynonna's fucking this really, really cute fireman guy, which I'm sort of convinced in the back of my mind that he is Julian, because we haven't seen Julian's face. And they keep being like, oh no, he's just a tall white man with blonde hair. I'm like, well, you know who we just met this episode is a tall white man with blonde hair? Well, it would be weird though, because that means that she'd be fucking Waverly's dad. Ugh. Let's not think about that. I'm probably wrong. It's just like one of those things that your mind goes, oh, maybe that thing could happen. And you go, no. Let's not think about that. That's gross. But yeah, everyone's changing so much. I wonder how that, like, remember back in the beginning when it was just like, oh, this is my kid's sister and we're trying to find this thing. And now it's like this whole group of people, but they're all changing so fast. And I wonder how everyone's relationships are going to stay in sync and how that work dynamic is going to change. I'm really interested to see how that goes. So, sort of excited for next episode. I did watch the promo, but now I can't remember what actually happened in it other than me being very excited about something. Damn, I should watch it. I'll rewatch it and do another video, talk more about stuff. Sorry, I'm very excited about actually doing these on time, because doing them back, like when I was trying to do them in squares, I didn't get into the episode enough, you know. But yes, that's my thoughts on this episode. Comment down below if you think I'm wrong or you think I'm right, or if you just I just want to know what you guys think about the whole Charlie situation as well, because I was a huge like Doc and Wynonna shipper, you know. It was like my big thing. I really like I'm totally a Wynonna fan, but also, you know, they were happy, they had this intense connection, blah blah blah, but that was a really fast switch. And the fact that he he knows her. You know, he knows her so well, and then he still put that pressure on her to say, I love you, and then she didn't. And it's like, well, of course she's not going to, you idiot. You know I don't know her at all. She doesn't do that stuff. It's like asking Waverly to say it. It's almost harder, you know? And yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, so he's going to be a vampire now, and I don't know how that dynamic's going to work out between them at all. So I'm sort of like really happy for her to have this fling with this cute guy who seems to like her and stuff, but things always get angsty, so we'll find out. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed your American Christmassy goodness, and all the Australians who understand me. I'm sitting here going, summer, where are our salads and our huge amount of flies trying to eat everything? That's literally Christmas in Australia. That's a summary anyway. All right. But I have to go because life. But I'll be back next week. Stay cool.